host, Steve Guy, and while I'd love to be pouring you a drink right now, times just aren't allowing it. But pull up a chair, pull up a stool, grab yourself a drink, and enjoy the show. Ordinarily, I'd be using this time maybe to tell some jokes, but this being the first episode, let me give you an idea of how things will go as we go on with Happy Hour with Steve Guy. There'll be some comedic bits, of course. We'll also have music at times. Look, there's probably going to be some dumb stuff. And then there's also going to be some great guests and interviews, including this week's special guest, Micah Hyde from the NFL's Buffalo Bills. Now, some of the guests you'll know, some you won't, but they're all doing some really cool things. Now, before we get to this week's guest, here's something really dumb. I wanna kiss you. But if I do, then I might miss you, babe. It's complicated and stupid. Got my ass squeezed by sexy Cupid. Guess he wants to play a love game. A love game. I'm on a mission, and it involves some heavy touching. Yeah. You've indicated your interests. I'm educated in sex, yes. And now I want it bad. Want it bad. A love game. A love game. Hold me and love me. I just want to touch you for a minute. Baby, 3 seconds isn't enough for my heart to quit it. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Don't think too much. Just bust that kick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Let's play a love game. Play a love game. Do you want love or want fame? Are you in the game? Doing the love game? I can see you staring there from across the block with a smile on your mouth and your hand on your The story of us, it always starts the same, with a boy and a girl and a game. A love game. Yeah, that was probably kind of dumb, but hopefully you got a little bit of a laugh out of it. And without doing too much more, let's get into our special guest. Joining me on Happy Hour this week is a guy that I became friends with years ago. And as great as he is on the field, having made the NFL's Pro Bowl, he is an actual, even more incredible person. So here is my interview with the Buffalo Bills safety, Micah Hyde. All right, I am joined by my very first guest of Happy Hour with Steve Guy. He plays for the NFL's Buffalo Bills, Mr. Micah Hyde.
I appreciate that, man. I feel like I need a drink in my hand or something. Looking in the background, behind you, I feel like I need a drink to match you.
What is the what's the Micah Hyde drink of choice?
Oh, you know what? The old me, as you would know, like to indulge in a few drinks. But I feel like as of like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I just kind of dialed it down a little bit, man. My hangovers are getting a little bit too bad. So
don't tell me you're getting old. We are like 6 years apart, I think. No, you're not old yet.
I'm getting old, man. I'm telling you. But no, I've always had pretty bad hangovers. But I mean, I like my tequila. I do. I like my tequila, and but I haven't had a few in a while.
Well, the first thing I should start off is, because I actually get to talk to you instead of text, is congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a learning experience, and it's awesome. It's awesome. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about your little one, your wife, and we're all just progressing together.
What's more challenging? Tom Brady led offense twice in a season, or
Newborn fatherhood.
In a good way, tough newborn in a good way. In
Yeah.
a good way.
I mean,
I feel like the
there's a lot of new
competition.
challenges, right?
Yeah, the competition stuff, and I feel like I've been doing my whole life. Uh, great competitor in Tom Brady, and one of the best, the best quarterback to ever do it. But when it comes to fatherhood, yeah, it's a whole new experience, man. Like um, fortunate enough, my wife has been amazing. She's been letting me sleep a little bit, throughout the night, which well, in the past couple of weeks, but last night was a little bit different. Last night, it was, hey, wake up, it's your turn type situation. So, I learned a valuable lesson last night, and I'm sure I'll continue to do that. But that I'd say in a good way. That's it's a little bit. I have to say I have a lot more respect for dads out there, especially with 3, 4 kids. Oh my gosh, I don't know how they do it.
So right now, at this time of year, would you still be in California or would you be back in Buffalo? You got OTAs be happening, or
Hmm.
where would you be right now?
So OTAs actually would start on Monday. So we would usually be leaving on Friday, which is what's today, Wednesday. So I don't even know. I just guessed it's Wednesday. I guess I'm right. And we'd be leaving in 2 days on Friday to go back, for the weekend and get things rolling for Monday. But with this whole situation, the virus going on, they're going to do some virtual FaceTime type stuff, and kind
Okay.
of have some classrooms online so guys can get in and talk about football that way. But yeah, we'd be heading back in a few days.
Does it feel like it's a little bit more difficult not knowing what's going to happen right now in terms of when training camp's going to start, when a season's going to start?
Honestly, no. I feel like
Okay.
as long as guys are working, as long as it's myself included is grinding every single day. Fortunate enough, my trainer lives in the same neighborhood as me here, so
Oh,
he kind of comes down to the house and he stands in the driveway while I'm kind of getting stuff into the garage. So we've been putting in some good work, that way. And this time of year, okay, maybe it's a little bit different for other guys because I feel like just going into year 8, being a vet and also having the same playbook and all that stuff.
sure.
It might be a little bit easier for us, but guys with new coaches and stuff, that has to be difficult. They're gonna have these classroom settings through FaceTime, and it's gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be tough.
For anybody who doesn't know, Micah is number 23 for the Buffalo Bills. Played safety, drafted by the Green Bay Packers, played at Iowa, but he is from Fostoria, Ohio.
Yep.
And one of the things I love that you typically do, and probably it's questionable this year, but you always run a camp there typically for the kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We do.
When did that start? Was that something you always wanted to do, like even growing up there?
My friends and I, we always, um, whether for in our group chat or FaceTime or individually, speaking to each other, we always talk about giving back to my hometown. It's just something that we do, and so
Yeah,
um, once I kind of got that platform for myself. I just want to be a role model to a lot of the kids. I know that when I was growing up in Foster, Ohio, that the varsity football team, the varsity basketball team, like those dudes were my heroes. Like I couldn't wait to go to a varsity basketball game on a Friday night and you know sit behind the bench. I thought those guys were Shaq and Kobe. That's just the way
yeah,
I grew up. And to host a football camp in my hometown is pretty awesome. This was going to be our 4th year out. Depending on this virus, we don't really know if we're going to be able to have it yet. But it's just outstanding. Just the support that we have. 500 kids, free camp
wow,
that we put on for the past 4 years. And yeah, and honestly, there could be a lot more. We have a waiting list, and it's kind of the venue, the stadium that we have it at. Can't really hold more than 500. So maybe we might have to move it, but then kind of takes the significance out of being in my hometown. So
yeah.
we'll see what.
Aside from winning games, as Buffalo has been doing well since you've been there, uh, what's one of the more exciting things about being an NFL football player?
I think just the impact that you have on younger kids. I like just going back every year and having my camp and having our events. We have the Magic for Youth. My foundation I came up with in college, and that was what 2013, and um, almost 7 years later. No, actually, it is 7 years later. Just the staff and the people that continue to run it and put on these special events. We have events in Buffalo and um, Iowa. We had a few in Michigan, Ohio. So we put on these events, and people just they see my name and they want to be a part of it. And to me, I'm just a normal dude. Like Steve, me and you can meet up and go grab something
Yeah,
to eat right now, and
I know.
it's just I just see myself as a normal guy, and but I think just like I said before, just having that platform, the NFL brand, tagged to you that people want to listen, and that's where I try to be a good role model to kids, and um, yeah, I mean that's basically it.
What kind of stuff are you guys doing with the foundation?
So the foundation, Imagine for Youth, what we did, what it started was we collected sporting equipment for from people that didn't use it. So
Okay.
growing up, myself and my siblings, we had a whole bunch of random stuff in the garage that we never used anymore, whether if we outgrew it or just didn't use it anymore. So that's where it started. We would collect those, collect that stuff, whether it was hockey sticks, soccer balls, whatever, and donate to kids that wanted it and donate to kids that needed it. But from there, throughout the past 7 years, just kind of grew into more academics,
Hmm.
and so we have like a back to school drives. We give a whole bunch, backpacks full of like pencils, papers, whatever it is that kids need, for school. And we've had teacher grants, so we give some money to away to teachers because people are finding out now that teachers are very important, and because they got their
Yes.
kids at home and running around driving them insane. So I think that we try to do a lot for the teachers, and then on top of that, just try to get the kids out and have some events so they don't you know run around the streets get in trouble.
Where can people go if they want to get more information and figure some stuff out?
Yeah, you can go to my Twitter. You can click on the link in my bio, imagineforyouth.org. Also, my Instagram. Follow Imagine for Youth on Instagram and Twitter. So there's plenty of outlets you can go to, but I mean it's an awesome foundation. We tend to do a lot more stuff in Ohio because that's kind of where obviously I'm from, and
Yeah.
right now in Buffalo because that's where we're currently at. But we don't forget our roots. We're still doing stuff in Iowa, and we've had some teacher grants and stuff in Detroit, and we've even done stuff in like places like North Carolina and stuff. So
That's very
we're trying
cool.
to branch out and make it nationwide one day.
All right, I'm gonna let you get out of here on this question. Let's say in this scenario, the Super Bowl is held. We're in 2021. Okay.
Yeah,
Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers return, and it comes down to former Iowa Hawkeye Micah Hyde being over top as a safety, and he sees a former Iowa Hawkeye at tight end named George Kittle. Who's who's winning that battle?
yeah. George is nice, man. George is nice. I think we play him this year. I want to say.
Ooh,
Yeah, so you can tune in this year, and you don't have to wait till the 2021 Super Bowl. But he's good. He was a redshirt freshman. I was a senior in college, and there was a few times where the coaches have to tell them to calm down, while they're running a scout team against the first team defense. So I know what George Kittle is able to do. I'm a competitor though, and I'd expect him to say the same. I feel like I'd take that matchup.
all right. Yeah. I mean, I like you. I know you, so I'm going with that too. In my mind, it's a pick six, and I get excited that you
All right,
score
but
on
you're not
the
gonna
game's
like,
biggest stage.
you're not gonna have this video all over the internet, right? So he can see it. Let's just make sure that, right? I'm just
Oh,
playing.
it's been a pleasure. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got a newborn over there. You gotta help that wife, man. It's a team effort, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But thank you for joining me, Micah. Appreciate it. First ever
Nah,
guest.
thank you, man. Steve Guy, you're the man. Hope that you have way better guests than me down the road, but I appreciate you having me for the first one.
It was great catching up with my friend Micah. I hope that you all enjoyed watching that conversation as much as I did having it. You can follow Micah on social media at Micah_Hyde and keep track of what he's doing with his organization, impacting so many youth around the areas that he's played and lived in. For more information, you can go to imagine4youth.org or follow them on Twitter and Instagram at Imagine4Youth. Now, since this evening marks the NFL's draft for the 2020 season, I thought let's throw it back to an old show that I used to have called Up Late with Steve Guy, way back when they had replacement referees because the NFL officials actually went on strike. Well, here was our take on jobs that referees needed to have after the strike ended, and a guy interrupting our talk show, basically. Is that a flag?
Penalty, Steve Guy, Joe Plum, repeat last down. Penalty, lack of product placement, 5 minutes in the show, no mention of Craig Vodka. Delicious Craig Vodka, available at a bar near you. Please mention Craig Vodka and 15-yard penalty, repeat last joke.
What are you doing?
Penalty on the Steve Guy Show. There's no video for the studio audience, leaving them unsatisfied. You should be ashamed of yourselves. 15-yard penalty.
There we go.
Delay of game, Steve Guy. 5-yard penalty. I'm going back to the Lingerie Football League after this is over. Your show's only on the internet.
Thanks for dropping by Happy Hour. Before you go, here's a little tip from the bartender. A lot of folks have been asking me, they'll say, Steve, you're a bartender and work in the service industry. What should I tip these delivery drivers during this coronavirus pandemic? And I'll say this. A good rule of thumb is to tip 18 to 20% of those delivery drivers when there's not a pandemic going on, at a minimal. During this time, if you can spare it, I think you gotta give them a 20 to 25% tip. While they're not doctors and they're not nurses, they are still risking their health, and they're doing so every day, and in doing so, they are bringing you some semblance of normalcy to your life that you otherwise wouldn't have. So if you could take care of them as they're taking care of you, that would be great. Hey, I want to give a thanks to the band Dibs on Mars. They lent me their track, The Banger, and that's where the opening track for Happy Hour with Steve Guy comes from. If you get the chance, go check out their debut album, the Arc EP, on Spotify. It's Dibs on Mars. They're fantastic. You're gonna love it. So thanks so much again for swinging by Happy Hour. Until next time, be safe, be a solid human, swing back on by.